AI engineering jobs are everywhere right now. Every company wants AI, but here's what most people don't understand. My first AI job wasn't building the next ChatGPT. It was cleaning data, writing Python scripts, and making sense of messy financial datasets. Boring work. I wasn't training models from scratch. I was building prediction models for the stock market. You don't need to build cutting-edge models. You don't need to publish research papers. You don't need a PhD. Most AI engineering work is taking models that already exist and solving real-world business problems. Problems that save companies time and money. And right now, companies are desperate for people who can actually do this. That's why companies like Apple, Google, Meta, and Netflix headhunt me for AI positions, even though I came from the film and 3D animation, not computer science. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get hired as an AI engineer in 2026. Let's get into it. What is AI engineering? What companies are actually looking for and hiring for? So the main thing is you want to bring business value to the company. So nowadays, what is ML engineering versus AI engineering? Basically, ML engineering is actually training models and is very math heavy. And that is if you're actually going to become a researcher. That's where you're going to learn statistics and calculus and things of that nature. AI engineering, the models already exist. It's been over a decade of like modern machine learning engineering that's been done over the time that we could just take the models and chain them together. Now, as an AI engineer, you're not expected to be an ML or a machine learning engineer where you train the models. You're actually taking this and integrating it to solve real-world business problems for companies. So you're taking pre-trained models and you're building an app out of it. So then, versus now, before ML, you have to build everything from scratch. Now the tools already exist. You're just bringing it all together, and you want to use real-world data to get real-world results. Here's the problem. Why most people get ignored when they actually apply for AI engineering jobs. Well, right now, after 10 years, like I said, 10 years ago, it was harder. You actually had to learn the models for ML engineering and machine learning engineering. Now, everyone looks identical because everyone's doing the same tutorial projects everywhere. So you're just seeing rinse and repeat. So, and the other thing is as well is just resume skill overload, where they just showed, I know all these different models, and they use a lot of big buzzwords. So it's pretty much too many frameworks, too many languages. And the thing is, when you look at it, you don't know what did this person actually solve. Basically, you look like a generalist, your resume, and those get filtered out right away because it's not specific enough that you can actually map that to, can this solve the problem that we have for our company? So you want to show the day one value that is required for each company and show how your problems, how you actually solve it, actually aligns with their business goals. And that's how you stick out from everyone else. So I'm going to give you right here the golden rule. Your domain is your superpower. This is what actually is going to make you stick out. Your domain experience is actually what gives you your superpower, because you know your domain. Even though, let's say I know AI engineering, but I don't know your domain, you will know what's right or wrong, what actually works, what success looks like better than someone just because they know AI engineering. They don't know how to apply it. You want to leverage your existing background, and pretty much you don't have any limitations on this because you don't have to go learn a whole new domain and apply it, right? So knowing how to apply AI to known problems in your domain, making it domain-specific systems, that's what's going to attract businesses in your domain. Having this domain knowledge, that multiplying it by AI value, where you can build real pipelines and real workflows, your niche is going to what makes you beat out any generalists that just have a list of all these type of different frameworks. There's going to be fewer roles specifically for that, and you're going to get higher callback because like, oh, this person knows this space, we'll hire them because they can solve our problem. So my recommendation to you is pick a specialization. You ever heard the expression, the person that chases after two hares won't even catch one? That's because you're spreading yourself too thin. And if the jack of all trades is a specialist of none, you don't know what, if you want to, let's say, solve a specific problem, they don't know how to hire you. So you want to pick one specific specialization. For example, you might want to do something that's involved with computer vision, right? So anything that deals with images or object detection, or using PyTorch, which is pretty much the framework that uses all these things. You specialize in that, and any type of jobs that's required for that will help out, right? The other thing is, instead, you could choose the path of NL, which is natural language processing, or LLMs, which is large language models. And nowadays, using RAG or fine-tuning or vector databases, knowing those things in that space, you could solve any problems that are related to that and you become a specialist of it. And you could solve all those type of things that you see. Or there could be time series or anything predictive like forecasting or projection. Main thing I wanted to say is that once you know this space, things change all the time. It's easier to learn just in time based off the scenario that you have to deal with, because you already have the base. Because you know one of the spaces, you learn just what you need to get the job done when you need it. Now that you've picked your domain and you pick your specialization as well, what's important now is actually to build projects that actually stand out. So you want to build real projects, not tutorials. You want to do domain specific problems, because you want to know what the industry pain points, what are the industry, what do they suffer in that domain. That's the reason why they're hiring someone to actually solve it. And you want to show your end-to-end execution of solving that actual problem, and show how you take that data starting from the data, curating it, massaging it, and actually deploying it and using it in inference, or using it really on production, on getting real results, right? And the main thing you want to show is handle real world mess, because when you're learning machine learning or AI engineering at the beginning, they're going to have curated data that already works for your machine learning. In the real world, you have to be able to take that and take edge cases and deal with errors and show how you can make that work. And while you're doing this, you want to document your actual business value, that before and after. What is the time saved after you implemented your solution, and what is the money saved or the money earned from that? One thing I can't stress enough that most people don't do is that you need to market yourself. You could be the greatest person in the world, but if nobody knows about you, the next person that people do know about is going to hire. That's who's going to get the job, and that's who's going to get hired. And what you want to start market is not just you, just in general. You want to market you solving problems that are relevant, that people want to hire for, right? And the platforms I would say that matter that you would actually market on is LinkedIn and Twitter, specifically because these are where professionals lie. Twitter are quick bursts of information, so you don't get doom scroll. A lot of professionals, or a lot of people who able to take information and digest that really, really quickly, that's what they use for here. And the other thing is you want to avoid generic posts. For example, I don't recommend saying, like, for writing your coding streak, like 100 days of coding or 100 days of coding Python, or just tool practice. I'm just practicing LangChain or something like that, right? To me, yes, that is actually important, but that post alone doesn't really show the value. Think of it this way. A hockey player has to know how to skate, but if they post every day 100 days of skating, that's not really relevant, as opposed to if they have 100 posts of them showing them skating progress versus having just 3 posts of them making the goal-winning shot at the end, right? Maybe that goal-winning shot that they showed came from 100 days of skating, but is the end result people actually care about? That's going to get them interested in. That's what you want to show, is the result that they could actually bring, the transformation that you bring to the table. That's why you want to show real implementation and domain-specific application of it, not something, a generic post on things, right? And the main thing, when you do these posts, you want to highlight the before and after. Again, like mentioned this early, what is the time saved? What is a measurable impact that you brought to the table with your solution? And how does that, and businesses are able to translate that and see how that business value is brought to them as well. Now, here's the strategy to actually apply for jobs over here, right? What I would suggest is apply before you're actually feeling ready. This is something I learned, that I've seen back in university days, that people who actually got jobs when they graduated, they actually apply a year before. And I also see people, even high-performing individuals, they go in and they network consistently for months. So when they actually, things started happening, is they already did the legwork that it builds up, and then they start working, right? Because hiring takes months. It's a very slow process and very long pipeline. They have to get approved, then they have to show the hiring manager, then they reach out to people. So I would say when you start learning, start applying from month 2. You could do it maybe month 3 we have different roadmaps of how you can learn the foundation month 1, then like ML basics in month 2, and then like more sophisticated AI stuff in month 3. But if you're really aggressive with it, you can actually start applying in month 2. And the main thing is daily execution. You want to wake up every day, improve a project that you're working on, apply for 3 roles, and then at night build a new project, or keep going, and just keep going that for a while, and then eventually it's going to accumulate. Numbers and domain targeting. Basically, it's a numbers game, right? You want to have like 100 applications. The thing is, it doesn't matter if you failed 99 times or nobody responded. All you need is 1. And just make sure it's domain aligned. That's why you want to choose your specific domain, as well as your specification that you're specializing in, so it actually aligns with what you could actually do. So when you get to the interview stage, what interviews actually ask for? They want to see implementation of research into code. Now, in the past, you actually had to code this yourself, and you should learn how that's done. But nowadays, you could use pre-made models and put them together. The other thing they want to see is how you deal with messy real-world data, because that's the data they'll deal with. Things that have missing value or inconsistent formats. Biggest example, for example, would be the date. There's no consistent way that's universal of how to represent the date. It could be day, month, year. It could be month, day, year. It could be actually spelled out. It could be slashes. It could have 4 digits for the year or 2 digits. There's a lot of inconsistency, and you can't just take the data raw and just actually process it. You actually have to do that with all the data to make sure it actually can learn and work with your actual models. The other thing is, even once you get it to work, you have to be able to explain your AI solution to non-technical people or the decision makers or the stakeholders, and why it actually matters so they can make a decision. Think of it this way. If you go to your mechanic with your car, you want them to tell you what's wrong with it. They might suggest that, hey, your brake pads are actually getting thin. You should replace it. You might not be a mechanic, but you might ask them, okay, well, do I need to replace it now? Is it dangerous? They're like, no, you could change it on your next oil change, for example. So you don't necessarily want to go to become a mechanic to understand all that stuff. You want to be able to, for a mechanic to explain to someone who is not a mechanical, who's not technical in that space, what's the stakes there, so they can make an informed decision. You have to have that skill. You really need to be able to tie AI to the business value. That is the most important thing. You want to show them how it's saving time, or as well as the business impact of how it's saving money, or it's actually making money for them. AI tools change very fast. You want to be able to have the skill to actually problem solve, because that's what's always going to stay constant. Even from week to week, tools change, but if you know how to implement them, how to take a problem, how to apply it to a business, to bring it to a business value, that is what people are hiring for, right? And having domain specialization, that wins, because it's not easy for someone to come in and just know that domain, even if they know AI. That means there's fewer competitors, and you show clear value, like, oh, you know AI, but you also know our business, so you know how it actually, what is success look like, and what are the problems we face and the pain points, and how to alleviate them. You want to basically to build, show, and then market your results, and you want to show the before and after. This is what it looked like before my solution, then after, and how much impact you have on the business. Basically, for you to succeed, you need to start now, not later.